All right, we're gonna do a quick lesson on just graphing linear functions. It's kind of a refresher of how to do this. All right, so the very least you need is a point and a slope. If you have those two things, you can graph any line. Okay, also if they give you 2 points, you just plot them and then draw a line through them. All right, but point and slope are gonna be usually the two things that you know to be able to graph a line. So first thing you do is plot the point, -1, -3. Then you use your slope, and remember our saying, rise over run. So that means go up or down, and then go left or right. So up 5, because that's a positive 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then go right 2, because that's a positive 2, and plot a point there. Okay, you can do this as many times as you want. I suggest doing it at least twice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. Okay, keep in mind you could also do the exact opposite. So I've been going up and right, but I can also go down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and left. All right, once you've got all of those, draw your line through them. Put some arrows on the end to show that these go on forever. And that's it. So see if you can graph this next one on your own. Then unpause the video and see how you did. All right, so we're gonna plot this at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, -5. All right, a slope of -2. Remember, all those can be put over 1 to make them a fraction, and then do our rise over run. Okay, so rise is -2, so I'm gonna go down 2, but run is positive. Okay, they're not both negative. The bottom's still positive, so I'm gonna go right 1. Okay, down 2, right 1. Or you can do the opposite, up 2, left 1. As long as they all line up, you're good to go. Draw your line through them. Put some arrows on the end. You've got your line. All right, let's talk about X and Y intercepts. Okay, we've already kind of discussed how to find these. Now let's use them to actually graph the line as well. Okay, so use the cover up method. So I'm going to cover up the Y portion of this equation. I'm going to solve 4x equals 16. Okay, so all I have to do is divide by 4, and I get x equals 2. Then remember the x-intercept is comma 0. The y is always a 0. That's why we're allowed to cover it up like that. All right, and then to find the y-intercept, I'm going to cover up the x part of this equation and solve -2y equals 16. So I get y equals -8, and then remember the x portion is 0, so that's 0, -8. Okay, plot those 2 points. I got 2, 0 right there, 0, -8, 6, 7, 8 right there, and since I have 2 points, then I've got all I need to be able to graph this line. Just like that, put my arrows on the end, and there we go. All right, so see if you can get this next one, unpause it, see how you did. All right, so we've got 6x equals -24. So x equals -4 after we divide, comma 0. And then we've got -2y equals -24. So y equals +12, negative divided by a negative, so that's 0, 12. Okay, you can always change the scale on your graph if that's going to fit your needs better. Like I don't have 12 to count up, so I'm going to go by 2's on this graph. And I'm going to do the same thing on the x-axis just so it stays proportional. All right, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And then 2, 4, -4. All right, draw my line through there, put my arrows on, and there we go. All right, one of the main things we need to be able to do is slope-intercept form. Okay, so slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. Okay, this form is great for graphing because it gives you the slope and it gives you a point. And if you know those two things, you can graph a line, as we saw on the first page. Okay, so slope-intercept form is all about transforming whatever equation they give you into y equals. So you're basically solving it for y. Remember last unit, unit 1, we did a bunch of equations where we rearranged everything and solved for a different letter. That's what we're doing here. So here, when I have this negative 4x, I need to add 4x. And that'll move it to the other side over here. That'll leave y by itself, gives me 4x minus 1. Okay, so that gives me the y-intercept is -1. So I'm going to go plot that. Remember, y-intercept always goes through the y-axis. And then the slope is 4 over 1, so that's rise 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and run 1. Rise 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, run 1. Okay, got myself a couple points on there. Let's draw a line through those. And we got it. All right, give this one a try. I know there's a fraction in it, but you can do it. Okay, give this a try on your own, then unpause the video, see how it went. All right, first thing I'm going to do is subtract the x over to the other side. So that leaves me at 3/4 y equals -x plus 6. Okay, you could write 6 minus x as well, but in the interest of keeping it in the right form, mx is first, b is second. I'm going to write it this way. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is multiply everything by 4. This will cancel out my denominator. All right, but make sure you multiply everything by 4, not just the first term. So that'll leave me with 3y equals -4x plus 24. And then I'm going to divide everything by 3. All right, so I've got my final form. Y equals -4/3 x plus 8. There's my slope-intercept form. So 8 is my y-intercept. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I go down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and right 3, 1, 2, 3. Do that one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. All right, let's draw a line through there. And there we go. All right, last thing we need to talk about are vertical and horizontal lines. All right, so vertical lines are in the form x equals c. So notice there's no y in that equation at all. X equals, and c is a constant, just a number. Okay, the slope of vertical lines is undefined. Okay, horizontal lines are in the form y equals c. Notice there's no x in a horizontal line. It's just y equals a number, a constant, and the slope of those are 0. Okay, I'll talk about that in a second. Okay, these you're pretty much just gonna memorize. Okay, anytime you see just x equals a number, your brain should immediately tell you vertical line, right when you see that. Whenever you see just y equals a number, your brain should immediately tell you horizontal line. Okay, don't even think about it, just memorize those. Okay, they'll show up more often than you would expect, and it's something that should be really easy, but I tend to see students miss these a lot. Okay, so just memorize those. X equals is vertical, y equals is horizontal when it's just a number. Okay, so how to graph these. So we see x equals 2. We know that this is a vertical line. Okay, so we simply draw a vertical line where x equals 2. So that's right here, 1, 2, vertical line. Put your arrows on it. All right, and so determine if the graph is horizontal or vertical. So we determined it was vertical. What the slope is, m, undefined, and then we graphed it. All right, the reason the slope is undefined. Okay, remember rise over run. Rise over run. Okay, so if I were to ask you what is the rise over run on this graph, the rise you could say really any number, okay, because it's constantly going up and down. So rise we'll just say is a number, and the run is 0. It doesn't go left or right at all. So basically I have a number over 0, and we're not allowed to divide by 0. So when you try to divide by 0, that's when you get undefined. All right, over here, so y equals -4, we know that that is a horizontal line. We know the slope is 0. Let's graph this real quick. All right, 1, 2, 3, go down to -4 on the y-axis, and then draw your horizontal line through there. Let's put our arrows on the end. All right, so why is this slope 0 instead of undefined? So same thing, rise over run. Okay, see how there's no rise at all. It doesn't go up or down at all. So the rise is 0 on this one. And then the run is any number, really, because it keeps going left and right. So just 0 over any number. And when you get 0 on the top of a fraction and there's a number on the bottom, then that's when it automatically equals 0. So that's where those slopes come from, if you were ever wondering about that.